I'm really dying. I'm cold.
You should go home and race.
Who?
Go home and race the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not going to go anywhere this weekend. I'm going to be home throughout. It's not good for me. I'm sick. It started yesterday. And I went to, we are on the, okay, let us continue with what we're doing. Let's see. Let's go back and see. We talked about this communication through appearance and handshake. We talked about this in America. Here, you have to maintain what? Firm handshake. You will not get it wrong. And maintain eye contact. This is different from what I'm used to in Ghana. You cannot maintain eye contact. The individual is going to ask you, question you, why is it that you are looking at me? You see, non-verbal language comes from this. The body angle, how the person is seated, can tell you exactly what is wrong. 2, the face. You see, the hands. Some people want to fold their arms and not even paying attention. And the arms and the legs. All this will have to be observed. You see. And these are the signals. If it is green, a person also sends 3 types of messages using communication signals. Right? If it is green light, what does that show? It shows that the person is watching, interested in the product, in the presentation, and accepting what you are telling the individual. 2, it indicates the buyer's willingness to listen, and here the buyer may like what is being talked about. You see. The yellow, all of us, we tend to fall victim. When we are driving and we see the yellow, we tend to drive. We tend to drive through. You see. You see, the yellow light is neutral. You see, it is neutral, and therefore, you've got to be careful. You see, you might damage your presentation. You see, handle this signal. If it is yellow, handle it properly. Take your time, be patient, and handle it. And the red light, you see, it shows disapproval. The individual is not interested in the presentation or in the product being what presented. You see. Now, you have to be able to recognize the non-verbal language, the signals. And you should have the skills for interpretation. Do that. And in your presentation, make some changes to fit the individual customer who is indeed watching. You see. And respond to both non-verbal and verbal languages, questions, as you continue with your presentation. Right. So, what will you do? Here, you arrive at the individual industrial purchasing agent's office on time. This is your first time of meeting. After you have waited 5 minutes, the agent secretary says he will see you. After the initial greetings, she asks you to sit down. For each of these three situations, what non-verbal signal is the lady communicating? Number 2, would you respond non-verbally? You are the presenter, you are going to get business. So what are you going to do? You see, would you do situation 1? She sits down behind the desk. Right. She sits up in her chair. She claps her hands. Do you see? Together, and bottle expression on her face. And then what is she going to tell you? He tells you this. What can I do for you? But he knows that you are coming. Do you see? This is a bad signal. See? 2, what non-verbal signal is she communicating? What is he trying to tell you? So if we pick the first one, the neutral one, yellow one, you see, non-verbal signal, the yellow one. 2, do you see, how would you respond? How are you going to respond? Non-verbally. You see, then you have to express your opinion about it. You see. And then the green. The green is what? The acceptance. You see, this is non-verbal communication. You see. So let us look at, would you do situation 2 or will you do situation 3? Let's talk about it. And look at what is going on. The lady reaches out for the phone. She's calling somebody outside. Even though you are there in your presence. But no, non-verbal communication, you see. Displaying. What is he displaying? All of it.
Red light.
Huh?
The red light.
The red light. You see. You see. Yellow or red disagreement for non-verbal. So you've got to be careful. How would you respond? Non-verbally. You see. Here you're going to express it. How would you do? You see, the green light is giving us the information that our product or the presentation is good. And therefore, acceptance is there. We are going to get business. So, what will you do in situation 3? Here, in the middle of your presentation, you notice the buyer slowly lean back in the chair as you continue talking. As you continue to talk, a puzzled look comes over her face. You see, what non-verbal signal is she communicating? What do you think?
Yellow.
Well, it says in the middle of the presentation, you notice the buyer leans back. And you see, as you continue to talk, a person's looks comes over her face. What non-verbal language is being presented here? What is being presented here? see what is being presented here. Here, yellow, this is neutral. It could be acceptance or no. So what would we do? How would you respond non-verbally? Now we have here the green acceptance signal, and here we have the barrier. What limits communication? What is it that limits communication? What are the problems? One, differences in outlook, the way that we understand issues. I understand it this way. You understand it that way. Now, the buyer to whom you are doing the presentation is not interested in the product. The product does not meet the needs of the buyer. That is a limitation. Now, pressure on the individual, on the buyer to buy. You will not do that. Don't be a traditional salesperson. Don't do that. Too much information can distract attention. You see, distractions. And if the individual is not listening, it sets a barrier to your presentation. Poor listening, how and what you have to say, and not adapting to the buyer's style. You see, can cause a problem for the company. So we have to watch out. So barriers to communication. You see, we have differences in perception. We are different. We are not the same. What I think is good might be different from you. Different. The buyer does not recognize that there is a need for the product or for the merchandise. 3, too much information. Distractions in the middle of the presentation. Something crops up, and you, the presenter, you see, you are distracted from the presentation. You see, and the individual customer is not listening. Customer is not listening. Question: what would you say? What would you say? Not what? Adapting to the buyers. You see, the buyer's own style. You have to do that. The buyer's style. Take a moment for this. Master persuasive communication to maintain control. How do we control the presentation? You see, number 1 is what? Persuasion. That you are persuading the individual customer to buy for you to get a business. And therefore, what you have to do, you have to have the ability make a change to fit the style of the buyer. You see, you have to ask questions, probing questions. From who? From the buyer. Ask questions, and don't forget to close. You see, use trial and close methods, and be what? Put yourself in place of the listener. That is empathy. You see, keep simple salespersons. Keep simple salespersons, and state, try and develop mutual trust between the salesperson and the buyer. That will help. So don't let us forget about that. Create friendship. You see. Now, persuasion is very, very important. Very, very important. Listening, hearing, listening to words, feelings, and thoughts. There are 3 levels of listening. You see, marginal listening. That is not too much. You see, and the person evaluates the presentation. The person is listening, and situations arise when the listener pays attention. You see, technology helps. Today there is nothing that we can do that avoids technology. Technology helps to do this. Your attitude makes the difference. And there are 9 factors that impact on the attitudes. 1, caring. Make the customer believe that you care about the customer. You see, joy, harmony. You see, be patient, don't rush. Be ethical, do the right thing, don't do the wrong thing. And be sincere with what you do. And you yourself have self-control. And create a situation when there is excitement. You see, if you are interested and you are paying the excitement, the individual customer pays attention. If you are not paying attention, the customer is not paying attention, the prospect is not paying attention. So pay attention, you see, to the customer. You see. Have the credibility. Yeah. How do we have the credibility? We have it through empathy. That is, we put ourselves in place of the customer. You see. And listening, very, very important. And joy, enthusiasm. You see. You have to do that. Summary of major selling issues. 1, communication is the transmission of verbal and non-verbal information and understanding between the salesperson and the prospect. Number 2, most of communication takes the place of words, gestures, and visual aids. Communication model the process, but note that you see barrier may hinder constructive communication during the presentation. So we have the barrier must be recognized and overcome or eliminated. Non-verbal is a critical component of overall communication process. Non-verbal and the territorial space, handshake, eye contact, and body language are important. This is in the United States. You cannot get it wrong. Please. And improving the overall persuasive power through the development of several key characteristics. Empathy. Place yourself in place of the customer who is listening. That is empathy. And you have to present. You have to present positive attitude and be what? Be enthusiastic. It is only by doing this that you will get the customer to listen. Any question or questions? If you have read anything on your own, bring it out for us to talk about it. Any customer, any question or questions? I'm really very sick. I think we have already talked about this, haven't we? Haven't we? I'm asking all of you. We have. Yeah. Well, if we have not, then let us look at this communication between who? The buyer and what? The salesperson. You see, communication takes place between 2 or 3 people. Do you see? Now, these are the elements that we have to understand. Number 1 is sourcing. I think we have talked about this. The person who is developing the message. Right? When the person develops that message, the person is encoding. Do you see? He developed the message. How is the individual going to send the message? The message itself. Then the message is sent by whatever means, and somebody received it. The person receiving it is the receiver. The person explains or interprets the message. That is decoding. You see, and the individual doing the presenting get a feedback. Sometimes the environment is affected by noise, and therefore the interpretation of the message is bad. The person who received it does not give accurate information about the message. You see, we have to understand it. Now, who sends out the message? You see, now here we have the source where the message is originated. Right. Sends the message that is of the state's, the sales presentation, the message to be presented is developed by the salesperson. And the individual That is number 4. Number 4 is that the person receiving the message decodes it. That is interpreting, getting the understanding of the message so sent. And then we have what? The receiver, the buyer receiving the message. The message is sent. It's sent through what? Through the presentations. I'm doing this simply because March is soon coming and we don't have enough chapters to discuss. That is why I'm here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So you are important to me. You see, I am terribly sick. You see. So there is what? I think we have talked about this before. The source, encoding the message, the medium. How is the message sent? Is it by phone? Is it by the internet? How is the message sent? Do you see? And for the individual to have access to the information and then interpret the information to see if the information makes sense. By who? By the receiver. And all the time there is a feedback. And you see that there is a limitation. The limitation of the feedback. There is what? Interruption. If you talk to your friend, you see that sometimes your friend does not hear you. You say, ha, ha, ha. The person doesn't understand what you're saying because of the distance. Do you see? So, the noise could impair the message. This is the model. Here, the source is from what? From the salesperson. The salesperson is giving you the information. The information comes from the individual. The individual develops the sales presentation. Number 3 is that he sends out, he does the actual presentation to the prospect. The buyer will interpret the message to see. Here you as a presenter, you need to watch it. And the presenter will, in situations, will give a feedback. You see, feedback. You see that feedback can take so many forms. Acceptance, we are buying, we are not buying. The process. So we have to understand this. We have the non-verbal communication. That's the concept of space. As I was telling you, the American hates American space to be invaded. The American doesn't like that. And we have to understand that. We have the territorial space. That is the intimate space. This should be 2 yards, 2 feet away. And we have the territorial space. The territorial space, you see, which is derived from the territorial space, from the friendship space, should be what? 2 to 4 feet personal space. Don't do a little more than that. Please. You see. social, you'll understand what it means by social interaction, where we are making friendship with the prospects. You see, it has been 4 to 6 feet. You see, from you. And we have this. We have this. You see, social space. This is 4 to 6 feet. And then we have the public face, which is more than 12 feet. We have to understand this. You see, these individuals are staying apart. They do not want to invade the space, individual space. You see. So we go. We have space threats. You see that people, when you go too close to them, they feel what? They feel threatened. You see, they feel threatened to be too close. This is America. So you have to understand this and keep your distance. You think that you are invading the space, which is not acceptable. Here in America, it is not acceptable. So we go. Here, we saw this. You see, we saw this, the individual, the buyer, and we have the seller. Walk over. What's it? Omanye. Oh. We have this. Look at the seller and look at the buyer. You see, it's 2 feet away to signify friendship. The personal feet is 2 to 4 feet. Social feet is 4 to 12 feet, and the public feet is over 12 feet. We have to understand this. So important. So we go. Communication through appearance. Appearance counts a lot. You see, if you are shabbily dressed, nobody is going to look at you. Nobody is going to look at you. That is why in some colleges, you see, like South Carolina, on Wednesdays, they have a program where all students of Bluefield State College, all students of South Carolina State University, they appear in what? In blue or charcoal gray, and a tie to match with it. You will not get it wrong, whether a woman or a man. And what is it? You have to maintain what? Firm handshake. Maintain a firm handshake. Don't let it be too loose. And then look at people straight in the face. And I did explain to you back home in Ghana, we don't do that. You cannot look at somebody straight in the face. The person is going to ask you, why are you looking at me? Is there anything wrong with me? That is why you are looking at me like that. You see, I went to court in Atlanta. You see, and before I opened my mouth, you see, the judge raised up, stood up, something unusual, and said, yes, this is acceptable. In the country where she was born, they do not maintain eye contact. You have to look elsewhere. You see, so I explained to them. You see why I will not look straight into the eye of the prosecution witness. It also happened in Atlanta, in Tampa, Florida. I will not maintain eye contact, because it is unacceptable in that country. You will not do that. Yes. Don't do that. So we have here non-verbal language gives you clues. No, gives you what? Body language gives you a reason for you to think about it, whether you are winning sales or not. The face of the individual, the individual, has the hands clasped, which means the individual is ready to fight. You see, the arms and the legs. You have to understand them. Right? Understand them. Now, a light signal for vehicles has a green, yellow, and red. A person also sends 3 types of messages using body language signals. Number 2 here. The green light. What does that mean? It means yes. That is what the message means. The green light gives you, go ahead. Don't make the mistake. 2, it indicates the buyer is willing to listen. The buyer may like what is being said. The information being provided, the buyer might like it. You have the yellow light. You see, this is a caution here. You have to be very careful, you see, in your presentation. The yellow light gives a neutral or skeptical sign, indicating the buyer may be uncertain about what you are saying. If it is the quality of the product, if it is the price, you see, you have to go back and then explain to the buyer. Handle the signal properly. Don't make a mistake. The red light shows disagreement. The buyer does not show any interest in what is being proposed. If it is red, that is what it shows. Now, how do we recognize body signals? How? You see, knowing body signals, you see, gives us what? The guidelines, you see, can improve your communication ability by allowing the salesperson what will the salesperson do? Be able to recognize non-verbal signals. The person is looking somewhere. It is an indication. You have to talk about it. The individual might be sleeping. It sends out signal. You have to take your time to explain. But all this, you should be able to interpret, to see the information correctly. You go there with your strategy. it is not working. What do? You change. You change. See, be prepared to change your strategy. Don't keep on doing the same thing. Change the strategy. And be positive in answering questions provided by the prospect. So, do that. 2. What do? You arrive at the industrial petition agent's office on time. This is your first meeting. After you have waited 5 minutes, the agent's secretary, she will see you after the initial greeting. She asks you to sit down. It is the secretary, in this case, Miss Baker. Say, look, wait. The dean is with a student. You have to be patient, don't rush. How would you respond this? How would you respond this? Sits down behind the desk. She sits up straight in her hair. She claps her hands together with an expression on her face. And then says what? Let's see. What can I do for you? This is the secretary talking to the prospect. To whom the presentation is going to be conducted. So we have that. Then, what? Non-verbal communication. What sign is communicated? See? We have this yellow caution. The yellow sign is always expressing caution. Be careful. Don't rush. Instances are there that I will stop. I will not cross the line. You see, somebody can kill you. Be careful. You see, how would you respond? Respond non-verbally. You see, green acceptance, non-verbal acceptance. You see, it's a way to communicate with the consumer. What will you do? What will you do as you begin the main part of your presentation? The buyer reaches for the telephone and says, keep going. I will need to tell my secretary something. You see, this is not good. What non-verbal communication is this? If the individual reaches out the phone and then makes a call, this individual is not paying attention. Right? So we go on, we say, the individual is on the yellow caution. You see, on yellow caution, we can always make what? Make a turn. That if you are not careful, run into an accident. So you've got to be careful. Do you see? How would you respond non-verbally? You see, to a situation like this. You see, green means acceptance. The individual buyer agrees with you. Conclusion number 3. In the middle of your presentation, you notice the buyer slowly lean back in the chair as you continue to talk. A puzzled look comes over her face. The buyer is confused. Do you see? What are you going to do? Do you see? What non-verbal communication is she communicating? Is it the green light? Is it the yellow light? Or is the red light? It's up to you. It's up to you to decide. Yes. The yellow light expresses concern. And how would you? Green light? No, it's a non-verbal signal, meaning that the prospect is going to buy. You see, it's likely, probability is there that the individual is going to buy. So the barrier to communication has what? Differences in consumption. We look at things differently. So we see that the buyer does not recognize a need for the product. The product is obsolete. The buyer has been bombarded with tons of messages, to distractions, to poor listening. The prospect is not listening, paying attention to what you are saying. Do you see? And will not make adjustments to the buyer's needs or the buyer's style. So we have this information. We have here the buyer does not recognize the need. Pressure to the seller. Information overload here, it means that the buyer is loaded with so many pieces of information. And the presentation is disorganized, distracted. And this number here, poor listening, the individual does not even want to listen. And what you say, they don't want to, they are not interested, and they are not adopted to the style of the individual prospect. That is the model. So we have this persuasion is the ability to change a person's perception, position, or course of action. And then there is a feedback in the presentation. They probe, they ask you questions. You see. Remember that you give them, the customers, samples to go and use. And then creating mutual trust. Mutual trust develops between you and the customer. Make friends with the customers. Don't let them go. Keep them. Because it is important to keep the customer who actually sustains the business. So we will stop on this. That is master persuasive communication to maintain control. We will stop on this and begin unless otherwise. Questions.
Everyone is weekend.
Any questions? More questions? If there are no questions, then the class is closed.
said you sick? You said you sick?
Yeah, I'm sick.
I think everybody's sick.
You don't look like you're sick. Are you sick?
Very.
Really?
I mean, a lot, man. Think that. I said, how do we start?
Yeah, once they have so many people like come to apply, they take it off.
I'll keep my eye open for it.
Okay, yeah. Because mine, like whenever I applied, they had it like 25 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, I was just like, well, they probably already got somebody hired. But now that I've got in, I was talking to someone about the job posting yesterday. And they said, yeah, whenever we get so many people apply for a position, we take it in.
Yeah.
And it's not even like my boss, or my old boss, he's not the one that pulls the applications. It's a completely different like thing outside of our plant. That pulls them, and then they'll send people to him. So
Hey, it's all good. If I would have realized it, though, I would have.
yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't know that until yesterday. That they take it off as soon as so many people apply. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's just a different company.
Yeah, like they have, because you have to pass like a phone interview,
Yeah.
and then they'll send people to make it through that to our plant. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like the boss there gets some people, takes them there.
That's interesting, though. It's different. Sounds good. I'll keep my eye open.
All right.
If it comes up, like you say,
Yeah, I'll let you know if I see it again, or I'll ask him to tell him to let me know if it opens up again.
it was my bad.
All right.
It was Valentine's Day, my old lady. She's, you know how we do.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Dr. Burkott,
Yes, sir.
have a great weekend.
You do.
You get feeling better.
You do the same thing. Thank you. I'm not feeling well.
Get you some rest.
It's bad.
You have a good man.
All right, man, have a good one, bud.
I'm sick.
What do you think you got?
I'm sick, too much sick.
That's never good. That is